Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Dutch Guy's Garage. Today we're going to be working on our Volare coupe thing. I don't know what we're doing with it yet, but as you can see there's some missing parts, so let's dive into it.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you can get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself.
Well, what do you say we get thrown out of an Applebee's?
Yeah! So basically at this point in our story we have our 1980 Duster thing that we got from Alabama. And we tore it apart. And this is a pretty decent candidate for our cars for rust, fixing. I don't know what we're doing with it yet. It's almost too solid to dice up in many pieces and to be used instead of just using it entirely as a whole. So I haven't decided, but I know where we need to start. This car is solid in every way, shape, and form except for this little guy right here.
Shit'll buff out.
Don't bother.
Which, if you're familiar with the Aspen Volare body style, well, these cowls suck. They all suck. They suck, they suck, they suck.
That's what she said. Or he said.
So this one built up a bunch of leaves and pine needles, and it has issues. So we've started dissecting and made a hole to find a hole to, well, there's things in the way, but there's a hole. Small hole, but it's a hole nonetheless. So we're gonna have to dissect it further back in order to fix this hole so water doesn't get in the cabin. And I'm doing other random weird things because I feel like doing it. As you notice, the inner fender is entirely gone because if you can see, we get things out of the way. We have some heavy pitting right in this area, and these inner fenders are a two-piece design. You have your forward inner fender and you have your rear. Well, it is also different from AC to non-AC cars. They changed the design a few times over the years, yada yada yada, because you have to remember there was many different wiring harnesses for all these cars, but and the end result is they all come in through this area. Now this is the 79-80 style, which takes the square, and if you go back over to this piece of junk, we see we have a round grommet, which is the same thing 76, 77, and 78 had. And the other thing that I found in doing this prelim investigation is massive dentage right in that area to clear that bulkhead connector, which was the same thing that the 1980 apron had. But if you go over to our 77 and his fine glory, oh, can we get the hood open? We can. Notice no dentage, and I kind of like that look better. This is another factory non-AC car, so there's no bump out there, which we would be able to see if we actually had any AC cars in here that didn't have car covers on them. So again, another 1980 flat firewall. This is a 1978 non-AC car, so that has a flat firewall. Not the 79, so we might take the cover off. And as you can see, with the poor lighting, that firewall actually dips out, as you can see in that area, which changes the geometry of that inner fender. And that's a big block. That's a story for another time. Everybody's got a big block wood panel station wagon, right? So, that door's not closed. Well, there we go. Any rate, so back to what we were doing. So, you have to decide the fate for this car, which is, I don't know. I mean, this is the 1980 Firewall, which is a firewall entirely by itself, which is continuing into the M bodies, but as you can see, this one does have AC. So they really smoothed out the line, which they should have just done this from the start, was run the same firewall for AC and non-AC cars, and it makes it so much simpler. No bump out, none of that nonsense. Heater core has the blower motor inside instead of protruding out of the engine bay. They did away with the 1970s crap, where everything sticks out in the engine bay and looks terrible, in my opinion. But, yeah. So what do we do with this car? We don't know. We haven't decided. But, I do know. Do we have a 1977 thingamajigger, which goes along with this other NOS thingamajigger, because you got to remember, look over there and you look over here, this has got an entirely different hinge point, because in 1980 they went to a whole different style of hood hinges. So do we make the decision, do we put these do we put these hinge pockets in, or do we run the 1980 hood hinge design, which I thought I had maybe, oh, there is one right there, 1980 hood design, or hood hinge design. Show you a perfect candidate right here, albeit another rusty cowl. As you can see, that one, the spring is contained within the whole thing. I actually like this design a lot better. 1980, everything got a lot better. And then you got this thing that flops all around, scratches paint. And this is our factory hinge design, which is wonderful. Yeah, I like the 80 a lot better. This one's actually got Bluetooth hood hinges. It's really nice. So that was the whole reason we got that car, is to fix this car, because this one's got weird numbers on the side. And that isn't going to work. So let's dive back into this thing. So another fine thing about this 1980 Aspen is, if you look, or sorry, Volare. If you look, there is no frame rail rot. Which, if you're an F-body guy, you know that's what plagues our livelihood in this hobby, is those frame rails that no one reproduces. And yeah, this one doesn't have any of that. So if we have to deal with any amount of rust, I'd rather deal with that, as pain as it's going to be to fix, than quarters they don't make, floor pans they don't make, rockers they don't make, and frame rails they don't make. So yeah, we just got to figure out this area. Now the other thing that we did on this car was, remember, if you're a follower of the channel and all that stuff, yada yada, back through time and all that stuff, as we took out the radiator support. Now if you look at this one, you can see that one's a little bit smaller than that car. So 43s all came 360s, so they all got the 26-inch radiator, where this car was a slant 6, and they got the 22-inch, along with some of the 318s, which we've seen a lot of 318 two barrels have the 22-inch radiator, which is itty bitty. So we just kind of, we don't want 22-inch. So we have to make an executive decision, which we really can see it. You really can see the difference here when we compare a factory 22 inch, which is the back, and a 26 inch. It's a lot more cooling. So basically, we have to decide what we're going to exactly do with this thing. It's actually a prime candidate for a lot of things. Frame rails, quarters, all that stuff. But it has the monetary value of a penny. But I don't know. I think we're going to do something different and controversial. And some people might not like it. So my thinking at the end of the day is we have a Plymouth Volare Richard Petty edition, one of 247, that has significant cowl issues to the point where we have to run a cowl block-off plate. It has firewall issues. The floor pan's been patched 4 different times. The quarter panels, this one's had a tire blow, wrapped the whole quarter panel under. The bottoms of the quarters are gone. The rockers are gone. The rear floors are gone. The passenger side does not get any better. We have significant trunk rot, where the point where somebody actually took like roofing tar and filled in the rust. This whole area is gone. There's a huge dent here. This is all gone. We can't even mount bumper fillers to this thing.
It's nice.
So we have to make a decision. Do we make a... I'm going to make it. I'm going to make the executive decision. And instead of cutting a perfectly good car into 10,000 pieces, I think we're just going to do what Graveyard Cars does. Rebody. And I know what you're thinking. That's not correct. I can hear the purists firing up their torches and grabbing their pitchforks now. But at the end of the day, none of you ever volunteered to fix this car. This car is for sale for many, 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 many years, and none of you fixed it. Then I got it. No, I didn't fix it either. But the rarity aspect comes into it of it should be fixed. It's a Richard Petty edition. Why wouldn't you? It's cool. It's got big, goofy fender flares. It's the Daytona Charger of Volares. Why wouldn't you fix it? So we're going to take every bit we can from that car and put it into this car and make something truly great. And get that car back on the road again. And the only thing it'll be missing is fancy AMD stickers, which AMD does not like Volares, so maybe we'll have to buy some. I mean, wonder if we can even get AMD stickers. So yeah, that's the path that we're gonna go down to fix this one. And that's what we're gonna do this winter. We are going to take crusty, rotten Connecticut garbage, East Coast junk, and we're gonna make it whole again. We're gonna make it cool again. Because at the end of the day, who cares what the purists think? So that's where we're at. This is gonna be a multi-part series of many trials, tribulations, and a road down the right path to get 43 solid again. So stay tuned this winter. We're going to be making this Richard Petty go fast again.
I want to go fast.
So see you guys in the next one. This is Dutch Guy's Garage. Stay tuned for this. This is coming weekly. I'm back. New shop. We're ready to go freaking elbows deep in everything this winter. So see you guys in the next one. And always remember, they don't move until you do.